Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. So the video today on this 2013 Citroën, I think this is the C3 if I'm not mistaken. Non-runner, battery on it is flat, so there's a new battery in there for it. I believe this is the 1.6 petrol if I'm not mistaken, but we'll double check that later on. And let me get in and explain you what's wrong with this. Right. Oh, what a state. Man. Ooh. Right. Did I said C3? I should have said DS3. And indeed, it is the 1.6 petrol VTI 120 brake horsepower. Right. The issue with this thing. Right. The issue with this thing is that. Right. Apparently, the engine on this car had a oil pump failure, from my understanding, and the car ran out of oil and it damaged the head, all the cams and all that good stuff. So, a new head, I'm gonna guess used, not sure. A new head has been put in along with a new timing chain. Apparently, the head has been skimmed as well. I don't know if it's the same head, probably not. But yeah, the thing has been skimmed, has been put all new with new timing kit, chain and all that good stuff. And apparently the car doesn't start. They said to me one of the cylinders is a little bit low on compression. Not a little bit low, let me change this, is lower than the other ones. The value it told me is a little bit concerning. He said 80 psi's, which I think is a little bit on the low side, but it should start. If the other ones are good, it should still start, but apparently it doesn't start. I don't know if it tries to start or if it just doesn't start at all. So I think the first thing we're going to do, guys, is literally put in the new battery, maybe plug it in to see if we have any codes that are related to our starting problem, and go from there. Also to mention, apparently there is new spark plugs and all that good stuff. And they said that if I need any parts, they have all the parts for this. Don't know if they got them from another car or whatever, but they said if I need anything for this engine, from sensors to actuators to whatever, just to let them know. So, that's going to do it. Let's going to get the new battery in and see what happens. Okay guys, so the new battery is in place. That's the old one. And a quick visual inspection, it doesn't look too bad, to be fair with you. Everything looks pretty much okay, other than a couple of things not rooted in place, but nothing major. Obviously can't tell a lot by just looking, but yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to get inside the car, actually, and get the key in the ignition, which is in my pocket. Let's turn the ignition on and see what happens. That's all in there. Okay. Okay, looks alright. Let me actually. This is engaged in first gear. Let me neutral. Let's give you a crank. No, that's for sure. That's a no. So it doesn't even try to crank or to fire up, I would say. So literally it's just cranking and it doesn't do nothing. I heard a puffy noise coming from the exhaust, which is not very good. Let me actually place the phone in there so you can guys hear it. Let me put it here and I'm gonna crank it so you guys can see what I mean. Okay, sorry for the abrupt cut. The guy just came to pick up the Golf that was there, and now we're gonna move here because it actually looked like the puffy noise was actually coming from here. So let me see if I can place the phone here somehow. and you can hear it. So let me crank the engine. There's definitely like a glop noise, a glop glop, which it could be here, the air filter. Doesn't have the pipe here. This pipe here is missing, so it could be that. But anyway, let's kind of plug in the maxi Cs and see if we have any codes at all that might give us some guidance. Okay, and I don't have much time. The battery is running out on the maxi Cs. Plus is nearly 1 o'clock. We get out. I'm still on the Golf GTI. Exit that. So this is not going to be on my last scans for sure. So that's going to go there. Going to do an auto detect. Plus, guys, I'm working nights today, so I need to pack up for today soon. Let's see if he scans. Let's kind of wait for the tool to do his thing, and then we'll carry on. Okay, guys, and we are in. It's gonna go to the engine ECU to start with. That's not very good. Definitely not very good. Okay, I wouldn't worry too much about this. Right, so with no codes, this is gonna be an interesting one. It's gonna be definitely a interesting one. Just want to make sure we have communications with all these modules, but I guess if we wouldn't, we would have other modules complaining about it. So we go to engine ECU quickly, back into the engine ECU. Going to look if the authorization ECU not locked, main triggering ECU match normal locking, okay, power relay started control inactive, ECU not locked, ECU is matched, so it should start really. Just see if the key is matched. I don't see any lights for immobilizer or anything like that. I'm just thinking a little bit out loud. Try to build in my head a picture of what we are dealing with, which is very, very important. So let's gonna go to immobilizer quickly. Whoa, what's that? Why it says control unit locked? No, it's not like that, I think. Okay, presence of key, yes. Yes, I just don't understand why this is flickering in there, which is a little bit odd. Why it's saying the... Let me turn the ignition off. Yeah. It dies when you crank the engine. Okay. Dear me. Let's just get that in mind. Check power supplies, make sure everything is there. This is on the BSI, so 12, that's fine. Damage. Some of this stuff you need to ignore because it might not apply to this car, so we need to be normal, active, yeah, no, cut or stalled, cut or stalled. Okay, blah blah blah. Okay. Key in starter position, no. Okay guys, I guess I'm gonna carry on going through this. I think this is for lights and stuff. Yeah. I'm gonna carry on going through these live data. I'm gonna go now to the engine. And try to see if I see anything out of the ordinary that might or might not help us. We'll have to see. Just want to go straight to live data. Fuel injection and emission control. Engines. What? Oh no, required. Okay, required. 1240, that's obviously a cold start. 12, coolant temperature reference value 89, that's fine. Okay, so the only thing I want to do here, see if we have RPMs in there when we crank the engine. Yes, I do, as you've seen. So we do have readings in there, which is good. Just gonna go back. Intake system doesn't really matter for this thing, to be honest with you. I'm gonna ignore this for now. Just gonna go to ignition. Okay, 12.3 advance without correction. Maximum advance, minimum advance. Okay, let's leave this for now. Engine torque, valve lift system. Opening direction, blah 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 blah. Valves are programmed. Normal operation. I'm not sure where these values should be, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not too worried just for now because the engine is not really reporting anything. Right, I'm not really sure what we're gonna do, guys. I'm not gonna lie, but not today because I really need to stop. I'm just gonna do a couple of checks and then we'll continue. My next step on these will have to be, I'm not sure, not really sure. So we have crank. So, okay, so I'm gonna check the compression myself. See if we have compression. They said one is a little bit low, reading 80. That's a little bit low to me, but we're gonna check the other ones. Then for this thing to start, from judging from here, we just need to have compression, spark, and fuel. That's all we need. So yeah, let's gonna check these three things and see what happens. Okay, I'm not even sure where I left last time. Gonna have to watch the last clip. I worked on this about a week ago. I've been doing other cars, as you won't see, but did the 640 diesel, that's not been fixed. Did the Range Rover, 2 videos on that, with, well, 3 videos with 2 different issues. Anyway, nothing to do with the Citroën. So let me see where I stopped, but if I recall correctly, I think I was saying something about doing a compression test myself. Okay, and right. The reason why we have 2 gauges here is because this was absolutely puzzling me. So this is a brand new tester I bought, and I never used it since I bought it. I was just because the last one I had, which is, I'm going to show you, because actually I plugged that one in first. The other one is right there. Right, because that one, I blew that one up by mistake. Well, not by mistake, but I tried to check the compression on a diesel engine. So I actually diagnosed the problem because I had no compression on 3 cylinders, and then on the last one I blew it up because it was a good compression there, so I blew up the gauge. Anyway, so I bought a brand new one, which is this one. That diagnosis never got into a video. I was still on my other house at the time. Well, anyway, I bought a brand new one just a couple of weeks ago because I've been keep asking to my colleague to lend me one, which I just did for a reason. Because when I put this one in, this one in, it was the first time I was testing it. I couldn't believe the readings, and I'm just going to show you. So this is the first cylinder. So let's gonna crank it. So, as you can see, 75 psi's. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. Now, the reason why the engine is running really freely is because, I don't know if you can see there, there's nothing, all the cylinders, the glow plugs, the spark plugs are all out. So they are all here. Because I already did the test on all of them, so they're all here. I already did the test, but because I couldn't believe the reading, so 75 on this. I'm just going to show you with this gauge. This gauge shows a little bit more, don't know why, but it shows a little bit more than my one. Let me show you. So as you can see, it shows 60, 70, nearly 80. So this shows just a tiny bit more, but I don't think this difference is, you know, it doesn't really matter, does it? So, but yeah, it shows a little bit more than my one. Earlier was actually showing close to 90, but I don't think it's going to be 10 or 15 psi's difference. That's going to make a massive difference. And it's about to rain, and I'm going to have to hurry up with this for today. So I'm going to put on cylinder number 2. $75. Just so we have no doubts, I'm going to try this gauge. This gauge actually came with the hose as well, but the hose comes with a adapter for a different spark plug. So I'm using my hose. Okay, so there we go. Pretty much the same thing. This goes to about 80. My one goes to about 75. But this one, the gauge, the steps are different anyway. So as you can see. Okay. So anyway, so 2 cylinders, extremely low, because 75 is no chance. This is way too low. Let's go on the next one. I was told all the compression was good, apart from one cylinder that was showing 80. Sorry, I assumed it was 80 psi's, obviously. Sorry guys, this was not pushed in properly. Now it is. Let's do it again. 75. Why? I'm pretty much sure this engine should have way more compression than this. Last one. That's it. Pretty much 75. And you've seen how slow he was, how many cycles he had to do, about 6 or 7 cycles until you get to there. Usually 3, 4 tops and you are at the maximum pressure. So I don't think this engine has compression. I'm just going to double check and research, or just double check to make sure this engine is not special and only requires 75 psi of pressure. I don't think it is. So yeah, something else is wrong with this thing, and I think it's going to be time probably to scope it, check the timing on it maybe. Yeah, probably is the best option, but it's not going to be today because it's just starting to come down. Okay, so obviously there was no doubt that the compression was too low. I know I said I'll go and have a look. Obviously I just want to make sure. Some engines are a little bit higher, some engines are a little bit lower. You have petrol engines that can request 200 psi and above. I didn't thought this was the case. Usually I look for around 150, somewhere around there. That's what I'm always hoping for. In this case, when I've seen the 75, that's like half of what you should have. So obviously it's a no-no. I don't think the car will start with this sort of compression. I'm not sure, and I'm really not sure how the hell the guy said to me 3 cylinders were good, 1 was bad, when you clearly seen, guys, they are all bad. Before we start to dismantle, as I said, and I'm going to just repeat that again, as I said, this head has been out because did I say the whole story? Maybe no. The pump failed on this car and the engine ran without oil on the heads and destroyed the camshafts and all that good stuff. So a new head, I guess replacement head, has been put in. And ever since the car doesn't start. So that's what it is. So what I'm going to do now, guys, as you can see, I'm going to do this really quick because it's been raining and the weather is a little bit but I just want to be able to do this so I can then indoors analyze everything and get to a conclusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scope the car very quickly. I'm going to do a crank and intake. So crank sensor is going to be somewhere wherever, so it's easier to just probe in here. This first plug on the ECU, pin A3. So these plugs are marked with the number of what's wrong with me today? With a row, with the rows of letters and numbers. So is pin A3 is the signal from the crank, at least according to diagrams. Hopefully it's correct. And then here, there's no point to scope in there because it's easier to access here. So we have the pin, the middle pin. It's going to be our signal on both sensors. So initially I'm going to do a crank intake, then I'm going to change it, and I'm going to do a crank exhaust, and then I might just do the 2 camshafts on the same sample, just so you know, to have a little bit more detail. And that's what we're going to do. Unfortunately my scope doesn't have 3 channels. There's only 2 channels, as you know. So I think I'm ready to actually try, so I might just going to go and do it. I'll have to set up the scope first, but this is how we set up. So we're going to do it, then, well, I think I'll show you in a second. Well, not really in a second, I'll show you, no worries. Okay, so let's gonna do the first one, see if I can do this. Okay, so I'm just gonna need to put the phone down because I'm gonna have to pause the scope, and I need my other hand, so we'll do it like so. I'll point the camera there. I know there's a little bit of glare, but we'll look at this properly later. So let's gonna go. Obviously the engine turns really quick because there's no spark plugs in. That's it. So that's my first one, and as I said, this is camshaft crankshaft and intake camshaft. So straight away you can see that the crankshaft is going to be the green one. I know it is, but obviously it's going to be the green one. This is going to be the camshaft, which is half of the rotation, kind of. So let's kind of zoom this in. Okay, so we have a good zoom in here. So as you can see, that's the gap on the camshaft, on the crankshaft. That's the camshaft. So what we're going to do now is maybe take a picture of this. So I'm going to take a picture of this here. This one here, where it goes up, before the gap on the crank, and then 360 degrees later. 360 degrees later, you have where it's up and drops after the gap, and then next is going to be again the same as the one before. There we go. Okay, so what have I done? So I just need a picture of each one. So I'm going to do a picture here. I'm not going to do it with this phone. I'm going to actually use my other phone. But anyway, I'm going to take a picture of this. So look at that carefully. And then wrong button. And then on the other one, where is low and goes up before, look at that properly. Okay. So remember, this is crank, intake, camshaft. Okay, and now we have exhaust. And again, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to take the pictures, and then I'm going to do the crank, both camshafts. And I'm going to have to hurry up because it's literally just about to start really raining. So I'm going to do this, and then we're going to analyze all these data and establish if the engine is definitely out of time, or if there's something else wrong with it. Okay guys, and if I would search a little bit more, probably I could find a different waveform, but this one, it will do for what we need to see. The important bit is the information, everything else is noise. So this is actually a waveform from the same engine, the 5FS. I don't know if you can see that in the corner. Quick Google search, I found it, and I actually have a few waveforms that I keep saving when I need to scope the engines, but I don't scope every single engine, and I don't have one for this particular one. But what we do have here, guys, is actually rather simple. So what we have here is the green line at the top, or blue line, is the crank. Then this one here, I don't know if it comes on camera, is green. This is the intake. Then the yellow one is the exhaust. And then the guy that did this waveform actually had a spark as well. And as you can see, this is from the engine. This is the engine starting. So as you can see, the engine is off here. Then it starts the crank. Then first gap on the flywheel, so 360 degrees. Well, I don't know where the other one would be, but it would be here somewhere, I guess. So 360, 720, and then as you can see, here is the spark. That's when the engine started to fire. But it doesn't really matter. We still have the waveforms, the drops and the raises. That's all we need. And we're going to quickly compare. So I've seen already the engine's out of timing completely. So the camshafts themselves, they look okay. Camshaft to camshaft, they look okay, even on my engine. And we can actually start there, so we can get that out of the way. So when you look, I'm gonna put it here so you guys can kind of see. And as you can see here in the corner, so it doesn't matter. So as you can see here, so my green line on here, sorry guys, my green line here is the intake, and the yellow line, the bottom line, is the exhaust. So same as here, green and yellow. Okay, and as you can see here, for example, when you come here on this mark here, let's gonna see here, for example, where we have a drop. We have a drop maybe here at the front. So let's say these drop here. So you can see this drop. These two short rises is these two here. These last two are going to be these two here, you see. Okay, and as you can see in the middle, you have this top here. You see this top here? in between these two little ones, exactly the same as I have in here. Look, top, and then in the middle we have that here, okay? And then if you come back here, we have the opposite. So this top here in the middle of these two here is in the middle of that drop, So cam to cam, that sounds bad. So camshaft to camshaft, they look aligned, but my problem starts when I go and look at the actually crank to camshaft. So I actually should probably do this. Okay, that's better. Okay, so let's gonna look at here. So on my waveform, crankshaft green, intake, this is the first one, intake yellow. So as you can see in this gap here, we have this raise here, okay, which is gonna be, I believe is gonna be this raise here. Oh no, it's gonna be this raise here, sorry, it's not that one, it's gonna be this one here, okay? And as you can see, this one is aligned just before the gap. So on my case, this drop here should be back here. Should drop here. Oops. Should drop right here at the back. And it's dropping way too late. And then if we go to the next one, which is the one that we have the trough. That's going to be the one... which one is going to be that? It's going to be that one. Yeah, it's got to be that one, obviously, yeah. So if I pull this back to here, sorry guys, so if this drop here comes back to here, where it should be here, then this one here is going to move back to there as well. So this raise is going to move before the gap, which is this raise here. Which is this raise here. Okay, that is before the gap. So that's all he needs. He needs to move back. And then we're going to go now. So I get this right. So camshaft intake, camshaft exhaust. So now we're going to compare with the exhaust again. So the top, as you can see on my car here. So this one here. Is this one here? I think. Have a look. Yeah, I think it's this one. So this one here should be back here. Again, if when we move the timing back, these will come to before. Sorry guys, I'm saying this wrong. So this one here is the following. So as you can see here, it goes up just after the gap, but as you can see, my one comes up way later than that. This is way more than that. I know the and then where is the other one? So hold on, so that's crank to crank, that's the second one, that's the first one. So the one that goes up, so this one here, oh, so here it is. So this is what I wanted. I don't know what I was looking at. So this raise here is this raise here, and as you can see, this raise is, so if you see, that is the middle of the raise of the hill here. So as you can see, the gap is going to be after half of this high here, and as you can see on my one, is actually before that. And then on the next one that is on the bottom is this one here. So this one should be nearly at the end of it, and as you can see here on my one is nearly at the beginning. So when we shift everything, in my case everything is going to go to the right place. So the top of the engine is probably timed correctly, so camshaft to camshaft, but it's definitely out of timing on the crank, and I think we're gonna find out that as soon as we can timing this correctly. So I know it's a little bit confusing, but hopefully you guys understood. Okay guys, following day, I've just rewatched the last clip with the timing waveforms, and what a mess, what a confusion I made in there. Anyway, I do hope it's understandable. Yeah, ideally I would have a 4-channel scope and I could scope everything at once. I could have tried to on the computer and try to overlap my signals and try to make them to match what is on the card at the moment, so you can then could compare with a good one and see that is out. But I have no questions about it. I hope the information came across okay, and that you could also see that the timing is out on those waveforms. So next step was remove this, which I did actually yesterday, and was a couple of things I've seen yesterday straight where I didn't like, but that doesn't mean is a problem. So the first thing I didn't like to see is the fact that this is all rust. Some of these lobes, let me show you this, some of these lobes, they are in a little bit of a state. I don't know if you can see in there, look at that, all pitted. Can you see that in there? They are all pitted. There's a few of them, look, that one in there as well, the last one in there, look at that, how bad it is. Then I think I've seen other things like this. Looks like part of a rubber, a glove. And look, if you leave something like this inside the engine, if this, okay, just drop it at the back now. If this gets through one of these oil passages, can easily block everything. Who knows what else has been around the engine. You need to be careful when you work on these engines, guys. On engines, actually, to not drop anything into them because something can damage them. A couple of things I've checked while I have these here. Camshafts, they are marked in and out, so they are actually correct. So intake for the intake, then exhaust for the exhaust. Next thing I've checked was the camshafts, the vanos, or in this case the VVTs. These ones are correct. I don't know if you can actually see if I can get some light. Not really. Let me try to zoom in like this. There we go. So exhaust side, exhaust, and then on there on the intake side, there we go, there it is, intake. Okay, so as you can see, they are being mounted correctly. However, so I had to ask for a timing kit. This is the third time I need to ask for this timing kit to the same person, my colleague Elder, and I think if I actually said that to him this morning when I asked for it, if I need to get to ask for this kit again, I might just buy one myself, because there's no point to keep asking if I need them. Anyway, it comes with 2 locking tools. There's a smaller one. I think this is for a slightly different engine, but as you're gonna see here now, the engine is, what is it? There it is. So I've locked the engine here, as you can see. Let me see if I can get the light there. There we go. So the engine is already locked in place. Okay. So I've used that ratchet to turn the engine to get it in the right position, using this mirror to see when the hole would come through, and I just push the tool in, so it is locked in place. And guys, this is completely out, so let me show you. So this here is where you're going to time the engine, and you have, it's like a square, with one side is not square, is rounded. That rounded should be facing down. So in this case they are both the same, but as you're going to see here, so flat, 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 and the round is at the back. This should be facing down, this should be facing up. The same with this one. I don't know how the hell the guy said he put this in and timed. I don't know if I mentioned this came from another garage that replaced this head, or whatever they did with the head. I think the head was replaced, that's why he said. And he guaranteed me that this was timed correctly. absolutely be yes, because this is not timed correctly. So what we're going to do is it's gonna okay, so let's proceed with the next step. Okay, so the next step is I've done the exhaust, well, done half of it, and now we're going to do the intake. Now, an important thing is you should replace these bolts. I think I'm not going to do them just yet, so I can just try this and then I'll get them replaced. I'm not sure. I think they are stretch bolts. I'm not 100% sure. So what we're going to do is, with the E14, it's not really correct. Let me change it here. And we hold these here. We undo this bolt until the camshaft moves. Without moving these sprockets. So as you can see now, so I've undone both bolts, and now I can move the camshaft without moving this. And now we're going to time this correct. Oh god, this was really out. Really out. I'm pretty sure they are stretch bolts. I'm not 100% sure. I think we'll just try it. So this goes like so. Let me actually pull these here so you can see what we're doing. Another thing that I forgot to say is that this engine, when you put the locking tool, the engine is not a top dead center. This engine goes where all the pistons are leveled. So if I show you here, I just used this to confirm. So if I show you here, so is at the piston, and if I put my finger there, like so, I take it off, go on the next, exactly the same. Exactly the same. So they all go, they are all leveled at the same at the moment, and that's how you know as well that you timed it correctly. Just thought worth to mention there. Where am I going to put the phone? I'm going to put the phone somewhere, maybe here. Why not? No, this is not good. This is no good. Maybe like so. It's better like that. We'll leave these hold the phone. Maybe like this will do. There we go. Okay. So the tool goes. I'm not sure which one needs to go first. I'm not sure which one goes first, but I know this one. Oh no, this is the wrong one. Huh? Or not? Is this the one for this engine? I'm pretty sure this one goes here. Yep. But this one goes here like so. 100%. And the timing is okay now. And then this one was supposed to go like so. But this is for a different engine by the looks of it. Not for this engine. Damn it. How am I going to do this? I think this is for the engine. It is for a different engine. Crap. Oh no, sorry. I grabbed the wrong part, didn't I? That goes there. Okay, so this one is not yet. So this is for another engine. I was grabbing the wrong parts. Sorry guys, my bad. So this actually is not yet in place. Gonna have to move this one a little bit that way. It's too much. There should be something along those lines. I think that's it. Come on. Maybe this one is not 100% yet as well. No, it's not, because this is a little bit on the base. Now it looks okay to me. Oh yeah, proper flat now. I don't know why Helder cut this thing here at the end, but he did. Should still okay for us to do this. And now let's see if this one. Oh, now it's better. Ah, it's better. Right, let me get an Allen key. Okay, so this is all the way down already, pretty much. There we go. And this is a good timed engine, guys. In the meantime, I blocked this so you don't drop nothing inside these pistons, inside these cylinders. But yeah, so this is the engine timed now. All we need to do now is tie this up. Now, I'm not sure if they are stretched bolts or not. I'd have to go and check. I think I'm just gonna retighten them for now, and let all you guys that think I'm bodging these by not replace these bolts, cringe about it. But yeah, I'm gonna see how much torque I need to give into this, and we're gonna do it. Okay, and if you have a ready comment, you might better go and delete your comment. Of course, I wouldn't put the same bolts back in. I have new bolts here now. It says Mini because Citroën didn't have these bolts in stock, so I just rang Mini at BMW. Sorry, they had them in stock, so I got them from BMW. But I'm not going to put those bolts just yet, because what we're going to have to do, guys, is tighten things up, give 2 turns to the engine, 720 degrees, stop it again, lock it again, and see if everything matches again at that end. Okay, and the last thing I want is to torque new bolts to then find out something's not right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to temporarily torque the old bolts, give the turn to the engine. If everything matches, then I'll take these bolts off and I'll put the new ones in. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So for now, where is that thingy? It's actually here. So for now, I'm just gonna take this out of here. I'm just gonna torque these by hand. I don't know if it's going to be the right torque or not. It doesn't really matter as far as the sprockets don't turn on the shaft. That's all that matters. That should be okay. Right, so I don't know how much torque I gave, doesn't really matter to be fair with you. As I said, it's just so we can rotate the engine. So what I'm going to do now is remove all of this. Come here. Okay, it's going to give this engine 720 degrees. Okay, there is 720, and all of these should just slide in again as it is. There we go. There we go, look at that. There it is, all in place. So this is a correctly timed engine, and I'm now happy to take these bolts and put the other bolts. They are torqued at 20 Newton meters and then 180 degrees. So we're going to get that done and then proceed from there. Just curiosity, there's another thing I don't like on this car for some reason. Look at the color of this oil. Look at that. Looks like it's mixed with something, unless it's washing this rust away, and that's just oil mixed with this rust that's been sort of being washed. It doesn't look very good, to be fair. Doesn't really look very good. Okay, let's get together the new bolt. As you can see, there are no doubts. 20 Newton meters first. And now 180 degrees. Okay, we're now pretty much 90. We're gonna carry on. There it is. 180, spot on. 180. There it is, 180. So now we're going to replace the other one, same procedure, 20 Newton meters and then 180 degrees. Okay guys, all done. Another 180. And that's it really. So what we're going to do now is what? I guess is put the cover back on and give it a go. See what happens. I'm not going to bother you through that. Just going to put the cover with just a few bolts around temporarily, put the spark plugs and crank the engine. See what happens. Okay, the engine cover is supposed to be, I think, 2 Newton meters and then 10. I'm just doing the 10 all at once. So, just in case if you guys are curious. And we're going to finish this off and then carry on. And we are nearly there, nearly there. So I already removed the locking tool on the flywheel. There's a bolt missing on the clamp on the exhaust into the flexi pipe underneath. I already put a new one in there. It goes like this if I recall correctly. I'm not gonna put all these clips in place just yet. That's plugged in. I might just get these hose here in place because I'm not gonna need to take it off again, I think. Maybe just leave it like so. Okay, so am I ready to crank this thing? Let me think. I think I am. I think I'm ready, so that's gonna do it. It's gonna get the key. Right, this is the moment of the truth. It's gonna see what happens. Is it gonna crank? Is it gonna explode? What is gonna happen? Let's see. Ooh, it started but it shut down. Let me try again. And they timed the engine correctly. They did. Guys, what can I say? What can I say? So, what I'm going to do now, I don't want to warm up this yet. All I want to do is just finish assembling the engine. There's a little bit of smoke. Obviously this thing hasn't started. There's probably things that dripped everywhere. I don't know. Looks like oil. Yeah, it smells definitely like burnt oil. Right, let's gonna assemble all of this first, and then we'll start it up and we'll see what happens. There's probably this oil that went into the exhaust and whatever. I don't know. Not to worry about that. Anyway, as I said, let's gonna put this engine, assemble everything now that I've seen it started. So we're gonna start to clip all these things where they should be. There you go. That's it. So let's gonna complete this and then start this thing and definitely let it to run, scan the car, see if there's any codes, see if everything's okay. But looks like we nailed it. Okay guys, everything is back in place. Okay, so let's gonna drop the car and give it a good run. Let me take this out. Oh, I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. It's quite heavy. There we go. Right, all on the floor. Now, let's gonna start it up again and give it a good run. Let's just make sure there is coolant, there is oil. I checked already, there is oil, so we don't need to worry about that. So, let's gonna start it up, let it to warm up. There it is, running. Engine light? No? Ooh, no light. That's impressive. Very impressive. So let's go and let it to run a little bit. Get the maxi seals, just make sure there is no codes. It might worth to give it a run, maybe. Depends how it is. To give a calibration of the valve lift system and all that good stuff. We might do that. But for now, let's just let it to warm up. Wow, a full tank. Wow, that's a different one this time as well. Okay, and haven't run the engine for too long. As you can see, it's still cold because I'm not 100% sure if all these procedures needs to be done with the engine warm up or cold. Sometimes some procedures are with the engine hot, sometimes it's cold. So we're just going to quickly log into the ECU, and we're going to go, actually before that, because we have the engine running already. Okay, this could be, I'll tell you why this could be, because I had that unplugged and I cranked the engine. I did that yesterday when I was trying to run the cams to show me as I've showed you on the cams where it shows is engraved if the camshaft is the intake or the exhaust. So that was facing down yesterday, and I had the car on the floor. I couldn't access the bolt on the crankshaft pulley. So what I've done is I came here and I just quickly cranked the engine to rotate the camshafts so they would turn to face that engravement up, and I had all of that disconnected. So could be something like that. But what we're going to do, we're going to clear these codes. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we'll do that. The car is, what's the car? The car is, where's the miles on this thing? It's gonna be there, I think, where it says oil okay. But why is not showing me anything? Ah, damn it. Come on. Show me the mileage. I think the car is going to economy mode. Let's start it up. He's going to show me the mileage now. Come on. Okay, so 51,727. 51,727. So 51,727. I should probably put these in kilometers, but it doesn't really matter. And ignition is off and on again. Done. Okay, so no codes this time. That's gonna come out. Ignition on, special functions. I think is that one in there. Nope, it's not that. It's not that, although it might worth to do all of that, to be fair with you. No, it's not that. This is the configuration of the ECU. So it's going to be here on the special functions. Parts replacement. Nope. That one. Okay, so there we go. So we have all of these here. I think what I'm going to do, guys, is actually do this. Initialize off the auto adaptives. The car had a new head. The car had a new head, hasn't started since then, so it's definitely worth to do this. Guys, I'm gonna go through this and then I guess we'll test in the end. We'll go for a test drive and we'll see how the car drives. Okay, so there's no point to take you here through these screens. Okay, and the engine is now fully warmed up. I already heard the fans kicking twice, 2 or 3 times. That's what the tool says you should do. And now we're going to do this thing, which is driving it for test drive. And we need to make sure we can rev it above 4,000 RPMs and then take the foot off to do a ignition cut off, so it's going to stop injecting fuel. So we're going to do that, but obviously that's not really important. What we're going to do now is we're going to test drive the car and make sure there is no faults in the end, and that's it. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to use this holder that holds it on the rear view mirror, because I think I left my other phone holder on the Range Rover, and interesting, the guy didn't say anything to me, so I think he's going to keep it. But I'm not 100% sure. I think he's there because that's where I used it last. Anyway, let's gonna go for a test drive and just confirm that this is driving okay. And I think we're gonna be ready to wrap up this video. Okay, guys, and unfortunately it didn't last for too long. I literally barely left my driveway and straight away I got that. The coolant fan is constantly running. The car is misfiring. And I'll show you the codes, and that's the codes that I came up with. Okay, so I'm gonna capture this on a different video, guys, because this video is probably long enough, and this video was not to capture those codes. This video was an engine that would crank and it didn't start. The engine is cranking, is starting. If I clear the codes, the engine will run just fine again. The car was running perfectly here, idling, no lights, no nothing. So it was only when I started to drive the car. So I'm not sure. It could be a glitch. I might try to. Could be a glitch. I don't think it will. This misfiring is not going to be a glitch. So for sure. So we're gonna have to dig into this, at least for the misfiring, and then the controlled or pilot thermostat. But for this video, guys, I'm gonna end this here because there's no point to now start to capture different problems on the same video. So with no further ado, guys, that was it. In the end, someone messed up the timing on this engine, and real bad. I'm hoping that the valves have not been damaged or anything like it, because obviously how hot he was. Hopefully not, but we're gonna have to, what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to just, check now and see what is causing that. Hopefully it's nothing mechanical. Might just be spark plugs or something along those lines, or maybe a coil. I don't know, guys, I don't know. So with no further ado, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Stay tuned for the continuation with this. Hopefully it will make into a video. If it doesn't make into a video for any reason, read the description of this video, because I'm going to tell them the car is starting but he's doing this. They might going to say, well, no, in that case give me the car, we'll sort the rest. I don't know if that's the case or not. So check the description or just stay tuned. So again, and repeating, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you learned something. If you do still have any questions, any comments, please put them below. And like always, thank you for watching. No, it was not coils and was not spark plugs. All on the next video.